knew there might be giants in my album. So, welcome to Vancouver. So Dan Miller was responsible for the music. Rob Chernow did the lyrics. This is for this album called Bill. And what we did during the height of COVID, each in our places, they were in, Rob was in New York City, and Dan was upstate New York, and I was in Los Angeles, and we worked through Zoom. And the way it happened was that I would tell Rob of some experience. Like the first song that comes to mind in Bill is me leaving Montreal to go to Toronto. I'm leaving home, graduated from McGill, and I'm now leaving home, and I'm going across a bridge. I don't remember what, it might have been the Jacques Cartier Bridge, I don't remember. But I was crossing a bridge in a little dinky car that I had bought in order to get to Toronto. And coming at me was an 18-wheeler, big truck, pushing that air. And I thought, my God, I'm gonna go over the side of the bridge. And I didn't. But from that experience, we extracted a song called The Bridge. And the bridge is all about all of us always going over a bridge in our lifetime, always meeting 18-wheelers coming at us and having to deal with it. A life lesson from a song. And all the songs in the album Bill are like that. And in fact, we kept writing songs, and I'm now going to appear at the Kennedy Center at the end of April to do 6 of those additional songs, mostly having to do with the environment, because it's Earth Day in April 26, 27. And I'll be at Kennedy Center performing those 6 songs on the April 29th. I'm telling you this because I'm now asked to go in the Blue Origin vehicle. And they asked me because about a year earlier, a friend of mine and I thought it might be a good idea, since Blue Origin kept saying they're gonna send a rocket up, and my friend who was a producer said, man, you should go and you'll go up. And I'm like, I don't want to, yeah, you would. So we called them, and Blue Origin, they said, oh, come up to Seattle from Los Angeles and see what have you got to offer. So we went up there and met Jeff Bezos, head of Amazon, and in this huge building, huge lobby about this size, there's all this paraphernalia of Star Trek. I mean, like the Star Trek original ship is under glass in Jeff Bezos' huge building. And there comes Mr. Bezos. And we take pictures, and he's a big Star Trek fan, and we go sit around a long table, and we tell him what our idea is. We'll shoot a documentary, and we'll get to that, we'll go up, and he said, well, we'll call you back. And then COVID hit, and the whole thing went into the tubes for about a year. And then I read that Jeff Bezos is going to go up himself. And my friend, the producer, whose name is Josh Ehrlich, Josh says, maybe Bezos will choose you to go with him. And instead, Jeff Bezos chose his brother. And then instead of, he had 4 people, he had 2, he and his brother, he chooses a lady astronaut who never did go up, and he chooses a kid, some youngster who deserved it, I'm sure. I don't know those things. All I know is I'm not going. So they go up. By the way, I saw some footage of them up there. They have cameras in that vehicle. They have cameras all over the place. So I see either one of or the richest man in the world floating in weightlessness. His rear end is towards the camera, and his legs are splayed out as he moves around in weightlessness. And the kid is throwing Skittles at his ass. So I thought, well, that's kind of undignified. And since I wasn't going up, I thought, that's certainly awful. Then they go up, they come back down, and Ehrlich says, well, maybe they'll take you on the second one. I'm not going to go up second. That's like getting, in the States, it's like getting the vice president when you expect the president. Or you might get in Canada, get the prime minister when you were expecting the, what's the older guy? I've lost up the whole joke. What's the elder statesman in Canada? The what? It's like getting the prime minister when you expected the governor general. There we go. Okay. That's the Canadian version of that joke. So no, I'm not going to go up. So indeed they call, would you like to go up? No, thank you very much. It's a lot of trouble. You got to get out of bed and you got to go someplace. And why, you know, and then it's a little fearful. Let me tell you that it isn't like driving down the highway. When you think about, does anybody remember the footage? I wouldn't remember, and I don't. The occasion of the Zeppelin, the Hindenburg burning. Eh? Do you remember that? So those of you who haven't seen that documentary footage in the late 1930s, there was this huge airship filled with hydrogen, okay? It's filled with hydrogen, it docks, static electricity goes up the little post and the little tie-off rod goes in, and apparently there was a slow leak of hydrogen way in the back, and the static electricity ignites the hydrogen, which is very flammable, and the whole thing, this giant airship, starts to burn, and there's this announcer, this famous announcer who's going, oh my God, oh, the humanity of it all! And people are running away, and they're trying to get away from this burning airship that's collapsed, all because of the hydrogen in this Zeppelin. What do you think they fill this rocket with? They fill the rocket with hydrogen. How many of you remember the O-ring thing? The rocket, when it was cold, and there's an O-ring, like a rubber, like a gasket between two pieces of the rocket, and the engineers are saying, you know, it's about freezing, and the rubber doesn't hold. Maybe we shouldn't go. And the people who have a schedule to follow say, no, we'll go. It's okay. And they go up, and the thing explodes. And what do you think burns while it's exploding? It's hydrogen. And then all the other accidents. What's the name of the telescope? The Hubble. So the Hubble Telescope. Billions of dollars being spent on the Hubble, you know what I'm saying, satellite. And they send it up, and they, with glory, and now we're going to take our first view of the Hubble Telescope, and it's blurry. You know why it's blurry? Because part of it was made here in America, on the North America. Canada had something to do with it. And they made it with inches. Part of it was made in England, where they used metric. And nobody told anybody that one was metric and one was inch, one was whatever we call it here. They didn't tell each other. You know what that is? That's human error. It's human error. Everything that mankind does is fraught with some idiot who doesn't tell the other guy that this is imperial and this is metric, or whatever I mean, my jaw, when I heard that, all these rocket scientists, you know, when they say, well, that isn't rocket science for something that they're doing. Well, that's not rocket science. I mean, it's like the highest form of intelligence. And they screwed it up because of human error. So going up in a rocket, my dear, is fraught with human error and hydrogen. So now, they said, well, would you like to go on this second trip? And I'm thinking, why would I want to go? I don't need the publicity. It's not going to be publicized anyway. It's a second trip. Yeah, I mean, when Bezos went up, it didn't get much of a charge. So why would I want to go up and risk myself? I've got a family. I got to support a family. I got things to do. I got to go to Vancouver. It's true, I had to come here. So I'm lying in bed in that moment when you wake, just before you wake up or as you're waking up, and all these thoughts, you're thinking, what have I got to do today? And I got to remember to say such and such. And that thought was, why not? It's an adventure. Go up in space. Have weightlessness. See the sky, see the earth. Hey, it's an adventure. So I called and I said, I've changed my mind, I'll go. So now I'm bringing this all together. So now on a Sunday, I'm going to the desert on a Monday. A day early, everybody else is going to get there. All the other people riding in the rocket are going to get there on Tuesday. I'm getting there, they asked me to come Monday. I don't know why, but Sunday night I had to work in New York, and I'm in New York Sunday night, and I meet with Rob Chernow and Dan Miller, and we're talking about our album, and we're talking about the next album, and we decide we're going to write a song about space. And we start making notes. What's space going to be like? And we write notes. Oh yeah, it should be this and that. And then that next morning, Monday morning, I fly to the desert in Texas, and there's the rocket ship, and I'm saying, hi everybody, nice to see you. Why am I here? Oh, because, we just get you used to it. Here, have lunch, and we have lunch. And then they drive me out to the place where the rocket is going to stand. The rocket isn't standing at this point, it's lying on its side, being serviced, and hydrogen gas is being put into it. So I keep wondering, why am I here? And then they drive me to the gantry. Now, the desert altitude is about 4,000 feet, about where almost like Colorado, like Denver, where people go when they play football. They go, when the teams that get to play the Broncos in Denver, they're out of breath because 5,000 feet. This is 4,000 feet, and the gantry is there. And I keep thinking, why am I here? And they say, what? Let's go up the gantry. No, okay, let's go up the gantry. So I go up 3 flights, and I stop, and I don't want to let on. I'm out of breath. So, look how beautiful the desert is. And then I go up another 3 flights, and I get up the 11 flights, and I'm going, yeah. And they say, are you all right? I say, yeah, I'm fine. And then they say, okay, so you see this building over here, this thing on top of the gantry? It's a square, about the size of the stage, with 12-inch thick concrete walls and a big airtight door. And inside the room are these large capsules of oxygen, and there's a direct radio line down. I said, what have you got this here for? And they said, in case something goes wrong. What do you mean? Hydrogen burning? What do you mean? What do you mean? I said, well, in case something goes, you run in here, you shut the door, and you're safe. It's a safe. What's going to go wrong? No, nothing's going to go wrong. So I'm up at this gantry, and I step off and look out down there. There's nothing there, and we go back down. And I keep thinking, why am I here? And all of a sudden it occurs to me, they're checking out whether I can make it up the 11 flights. Then we practice for 2 days. Getting in a chair is like, they've made a chair that is, you're lying down mostly. Just a bit of you sitting up, but it's mostly lying down. And you practice for hours. There's a 5-point harness, shoulder, waist, and crotch. So you practice, you're in weightlessness. You get the harness on this shoulder, you get into this, and now you're weightless. There's a little perimeter there where you can hook your toes. So you hook your toes because what you'll probably be doing is floating in the air. So now you hook your toes in it and you lie down flat and you get this waist strap and you put it into the 5-point harness. Then you get this shoulder strap, you put it into the 5-point harness. Then you get this, you put it in the 5. Then, now you're lying flat and you reach down to get the crotch strap. Now, those of you who don't know what a 5-point harness is, it's about that big with 5 holes in it. Block, 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 block. But when you're lying down like this, you can't find the hole for the crotch strap. Okay? So I spent 2 days trying to find the hole in the crotch strap because they said that's the most important, because you could be going like this and weightlessness, so you got to get that crotch strap, and I can't find the hole in the thing. Besides, my mind is thinking, hydrogen, hydrogen. Finally, the day we go up the gantry and we get into the space vehicle. I love to say that. We get into the space vehicle and we lie down and the voice comes over the loudspeaker. Okay, everybody, good. We're going to start the countdown now. And I don't know about anybody else because I never assessed anybody else. I've done a lot of dangerous things in my life. I've done rapids with a kayak, and I didn't know how to kayak. A kayak needs an Eskimo roll because the kayak, as fast as the skiers among you know, as fast as you fall on ski, that's how fast a kayak rolls over in a blink of an eye. Faster than a blink of an eye. Suddenly you're underwater. So you're underwater upside down, you gotta stick your paddle up there and roll back up. It's called an Eskimo roll. So when you get used to it, it's instinctively, and you're back up. I wasn't used to it, and I was down ultimately 5 points. I've hunted in the time, years and years ago when hunting was acceptable, with a bow and arrow. I've stood beside grizzly bears. I mean, I've done open air aerobatics with an open air a biplane, a pit special it's called. I mean, I put myself in danger a lot. It's a thrill, you know, because in my philosophy, only the stuntman gets hurt. Actors don't get hurt. If something dangerous, the stuntman do. I was near here. There's a place called Moses Lake, just south of the border. Does anybody know the Moses Lake? So, yeah, same person who bought my album, just So I'm riding a motorcycle and gonna do the stunt, leap off a dune. You guys said, no, let the stuntman do it. Oh, okay. So the stuntman, I drive up to the dune cut, put the stuntman on, the stuntman takes a leap and goes, and he does the stunt, lands on the sand in Moses Lake, because it's all sand dunes, and he breaks his back. Stuntman got hurt, not the actor. So I never think about getting hurt. If I'm doing something, I think, nah, I'm untouchable. Because if it was really dangerous, we'd have a stuntman do it, no matter what it was. So I'm lying there, listening to the countdown, and the guy says, 15, hold on, hold the count. There's an anomaly in the countdown. Anomaly, what's an anomaly? Well, an anomaly is something's not right. It's outside the common knowledge. Something's happened on the countdown. There's an anomaly. Is it hydrogen? Is it hydrogen? No, I don't know. They begin the count. Okay, we whatever it was is gone, and we're continuing. And then the voice says, if any of you want to leave the spaceship now, now's the time, because we're pulling the gantry away. And if you can't leave, there's nothing to leave, you can't get out when the gantry goes. So anybody wants to say, I'm out of here, please get out of here now. And I'm thinking, I can't do that, I'm Captain Kirk. So I don't go. see the gantry pull away through a window. And go, Lordy Lord, that's my last chance. And now the thing fires off, and up we go. And we're now into, there's an instrument, I'm lying like this, and there's an instrument there giving you all the readouts, and there's a G counter, a G-force counter. And there's 1 G at sea level. And then, as you rise up, as the forces of gravity, you can see this G-force thing, and now there's 2 Gs. And there are 2 Gs. I thought, okay, I'm gonna try and raise my arm. At 2 Gs, I can barely raise my arm. Thing goes to 3 Gs, 4 Gs on the way up. Okay, we're at 4 Gs, and we're past the Kármán line and into space, and we're in weightlessness. And someone says, we're weightless. And we hit the 5-point harness, and we're weightless. I see the others like, hey, we're in the thing, and I don't want to do that. Because I want to see what's outside the window. I want to see what space looks like. I've played this thing for all those years, but what's it really like? I'm weightless and I don't like it. It's queasy. Weightlessness gets your stomach a little queasy. And they've got a thing called a vomit comet, which is an airplane that does an outside loop and gives you, for about 45 seconds, the impression of being weightless. And they don't call it a vomit comet for no reason. Because a lot of people, I'm told, get sick to their stomach and they vomit. Now, if they have a half a dozen people in the plane floating around, in addition to the bodies flying around, there's vomit coming at you. I don't want to be there, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm an actor, right? So I feel a little queasy about the weightlessness, and I get to the window as quickly as I can. And I look behind, for some reason, I'm looking behind, and I see something that I've never heard discussed before. And that is, there's a wake. There's, in the air, it's like water, there's a wake. It's empty, and then I see the air come together again, and the ship is making a wake through the blue air. I'm looking at the blue air, thinking, I've never heard of that before. There's no question this thing is going through the air and then I look up here, and there is the blackness of space. Now, I've done a lot of studying. I may have been the last person to interview Stephen Hawking, for example. I've done a lot of stuff about constellations and galaxies, and I've talked to a lot of scientists over the years. I'm mesmerized by the mystery and the awe of the universe. That which we can see. I'm filled with the love of the mystery of the universe. But that was not the mystery of the universe. That was black. The kind of blackness, I don't know whether any of you have ever been in a cave where they close the door of the cave and it's black. That black where you can touch the black. That's how black that was. That was black. That was death. And I look behind me and I see the earth, blue, beige. And we've just gone through the air at 2,500 miles an hour. It took a count of about 4 or 5 to get through the air. The air is, I mean, those of you who know anything about pilots know that above 12,500 feet, you need oxygen. They won't let you go unless you have an oxygen mask, because all the usable oxygen is about 12,500. This is 50,000 feet instead of 12,500. So there's no oxygen in there anyway. So the skin of the air around this planet is like 15,000 feet thick, and then it's nothing. That's how much on the limit we are. That's how thin this air that gives us life is. I mean, you have to think about that. You got 15,000 feet. Hell, you go skiing, you're at 8,000, 10,000 feet in some of the big mountains. It's another mile, and you're done. The furthest galaxy that we know about from the Hubble Telescope, not yet the Webb, which is going to teach us so much more, but the Hubble galaxy can see a galaxy 13.8 billion light years out there. Now, the mystery to me is that photon, whatever a photon is, this excitement of energy, left there 13.8 billion light years and has struck my retina now. Where has it been for the light has been coming for 13.8 billion years all this time. Where is that galaxy now? 13.8 billion years later. Where is it? We don't know. That's how distant and mystical the universe is. I saw none of that. I saw death, and I saw life on Earth. I saw life. And then something happened to me that I couldn't explain for a long time. And that was, I felt such sadness, such a feeling of grief. I've done a lot of studying over the years about the connectivity of everything, of nature, of us. This Earth has evolved 5 billion years, and everything on it, to me, is beautiful. Everything. The insects, the slime, the trees, the leopards, the lions, the people, everything on it has taken so long to evolve and to be there that it's beautiful. And I saw in that moment how much harm we're doing Mother Earth. And I was grieving for the Earth. And when we landed, I was sobbing, and I didn't know why. And the others were champagne, and I was like lost in this, what's the matter with me? And I went and sat down, and I realized, oh, I think I'm mourning the Earth. And I suspected that was it. And it only took me another week or so before I realized another truth. And that's the one I want to come to with you today. And that is the Earth. And I could see the curvature of the Earth. I could see it was like that. So you could continue the circle. I saw the beginning and the end of the Earth. That's how big we're living on this rock. That's nothing. There's nothing. This is nothing compared to the stars and the suns and the planets. And we're living on a rock, which over 5 billion years has gotten some water and a little bit of covering of Earth, and there's vegetables growing and things living on it, and we're living on it by the bare skin of our teeth. It's just so narrow. The journey between life and death on Earth is so subtle. And I then thought, a week or so later, the Earth is nothing. It's a grain of sand in the desert. And then we, human beings, these little tiny, 6 foot, 5 foot tall, nothing human beings are living on this little rock. We're nothing on a nothing planet. And I thought, that's sad. And then I came to this other realization. We've been given the gift of consciousness, of realization. We're nothing on a nothing planet. But look at, with awe and with wonder, the universe. We've been given the gift of consciousness. And that miracle stayed with me. And all I can tell you is, I've always been an ecologist. I've always been, when I read Rachel Carson's book, The Silent Spring, 50 years ago, I was filled with anxiety about life on Earth. And as time has gone on, filled with more and more anxiety. And